My story starts the day before the 7th of February, when my family took us down to Bruny Island for the day, a sort of a celebration of the end of the summer holidays. So what I recall on that day was that it was extremely hot, and coming back to the ferry to go back home, we noticed a number of fires already on Bruny Island. February the 7th dawned a very hot and windy day, and as school started on the 8th, my parents decided to take myself and my brother down to Sandy Bay Beach. We stayed there no longer than probably about an hour because the wind was so strong it whipped the sand up and it was quite painful on your body. And we also noticed a large amount of smoke gathering to the northwest of Hobart. As we lived on the lower slopes of Mount Nelson, my parents thought it was a good idea to take us boys back to our home. I remember it being an extremely thirsty day. The humidity was very low, and as soon as you had a drink of water, you needed to almost have another drink straight away to keep hydrated. During the course of the day, the smoke, which was really quite thick, became lower and lower, and it seemed to be just maybe 10 or 15 metres above our home in Nelson Road. Later in the afternoon, we walked down. I think if I recall correctly, I was in my bathers, nylon bathers, which is probably not the best clothing to be wearing. We walked down to near the junction of Churchill Avenue with Nelson Road, and from there we could see behind the university, where the clinical school was at that stage, flames leaping through the flame-top treetops. So that gave us a pretty good indication that the fire was pretty close to us. Going back home, we then did patrol of the garden. My parents said just keep walking around the garden, watching out for embers that may set the garden alight. We could also see across the valley towards Bedham Street a large amount of fire and smoke, which turned out to be later houses burning in that area. My uncle lived further up Nelson Road, and later in the afternoon we walked up there to see whether his house survived, and I recall getting buckets of water and putting out stumps that were still burning on the university property there. My good mate lived in Ferntree, and needless to say he never turned up to school the next day, the start of high school for us, and we later found out that his house had burnt, and it wasn't probably for another 3 or 4 days that he came back to school, where he recalled the story of how he survived the fires in the Ferntree area. I do remember going up a week or so later to his burnt out place, and on Hewin Road seeing all the burnt gum trees, and then the devastation of his house, where there was basically nothing left behind to recognise. Everything was totally destroyed. Interestingly, I live opposite his childhood home now.